Breaking news on NBC4 at 11. The charges against a Pickerington school teacher who was accused of killing her husband have been dropped.
Angela Luke was charged with aggravated vehicular homicide and reckless homicide in the death of her husband, Daniel. Victims' advocates raised concerns about those charges because a 911 call from Luke's daughters described a scene of domestic violence where Angela Luke appeared to be the victim. She tried to get away in a car, but Daniel held on to the car and was run over.
The notice filed late today by the prosecutor's office is known as Nolle prosequi, which is Latin and means no longer prosecute. Essentially, the prosecutor is putting the court on notice that he is abandoning the charges, almost as if the case was never filed. Usually, it's because a witness is refusing to cooperate or because the prosecutor has re-examined the evidence and decided the charges are not justified. It is still possible that this case could be presented to a grand jury and Angela Luke could be re-indicted, but legal experts say that is unlikely.
The Pickerington local school district suspended Luke without pay after those charges were filed. But earlier today, as first reported here on NBC4, District Superintendent Valerie Browning-Johnson reinstated Luke's pay. Browning-Johnson says that decision was made after listening to the frantic 911 call from Luke's daughters and talking with the District Board of Education. Browning-Johnson says Luke's suspension was required by state law because of the charges. Since they've now been dropped, that suspension could also be subject to change.
There were also concerns raised about the response time. The Luke's daughters were pleading for help for 17 minutes, a 12-year-old daughter making that call to 911. Today, we spoke with Fairfield County Sheriff Dave Phelan about why it took so long to get to the Luke's house. Phelan says the nearest cars were tied up on a call dealing with a 1-year-old in trouble, and that in rural areas, sometimes there's a lot of ground to cover to respond even to a crisis.
There's no easy answers. We have about 500 square miles in Fairfield County. It's rural, unlike cities like Columbus, where it have a number of cruisers in a given geographical area. We don't always have that luxury because of the distance it takes to get to these calls.
Phelan also told us that it can take time to figure out the needs of the caller.